Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the West Ham Weekly on a Monday night. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you all have had a lovely weekend and looking forward to the bright weather. Apart from the slightly averagey weekend, apparently the sun's back out. We're going to be on, in the highs of the late 20s and degrees, etc. So I hope you're all looking forward to that because I am. It'll top up the tan. What am I going to talk about tonight? Well, just a little bit of a roundup, something a little bit different tonight. I'm not just going to talk about all the thousands of transfer stories that are out there. I'm going to try and do a bit of a comparison. I'm going to try and look at some of the key targets that social media tell us that we're interested in. And I'm going to take Moyes' word for saying back in the January transfer window that he will only get players that will improve the squad. So what I'm going to do later on in the show, I'm going to do a comparison. I'm going to pick a player that we're rumored to be interested in, and then compare that player to the players that we currently have, and try and conclude whether they are better or not than what we already have. But of course, the first thing that we've got to talk about is the first signing of this summer transfer window. Yes, Aguerd is a West Ham United player. After all the stuff that was rumoured around, that we were going to miss. Apparently, he flew into London about 8 times, and he only confirmed in the interview that you might have seen on the West Ham official website. He only arrived yesterday. So all those rumours about he's been seen, he's been spotted. Apparently, he was in about 3 weeks ago and had a medical, was seen holding a new shirt and all that. You see, when you listen to all the gossip and all the rumours that are knocking around, most of it is a load of absolute tosh. And you know that. You absolutely know that. And as a lot of people say, I will only believe it when I see the player wearing the shirt. And there he is in all his glory. Aguerd is a West Ham player. And the first thing he asked for was the number 6 shirt. And they went, no, 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 mate, I'm afraid you can't have the number 6 shirt because that's a little bit historic. So he told us about why he went for the number 27 shirt. It was some agreement with a friend of his, a really good friend of his, about, his good friend likes the number 27. It's a good reason for it, I'm sure. And that's why he picked the number 27 rather than being given the number 6 shirt. But look, we're happy, aren't we? We're happy that Aguerd is finally a West Ham player after all these protracted rumours, etc., etc. So what is it we know about him? Well, player details: 6'3", primarily a centre back. I mean, what he offers David Moyes is that he can play in a back two, centre back two, or a centre back three. So when Moyes wants to revert to type, when Moyes wants to go for a plan B and play wing backs. He's got to buy the wing backs first, of course, or make sure that the players that we have can actually play wing back. When he wants that, Aguerd can play in a back three. Great ball distribution. I don't know if any of you saw the video I put up earlier. If you haven't, then please after the show do go and look for the video I put up about Aguerd, because there's some snapshots of the player about his tackling, his positioning, his heading ability, etc. And one of the things he has is a great left foot where he can swing the ball diagonally from one side of the pitch to the other, which Bowen will absolutely love. Great aerially, he's a very strong. I mean, 6'3", you've got to be good in the air, haven't you? But he's also equally as good on the ground as well. So he's an exciting player. He's an interesting player. He's got great qualities. He's very calm. If you look at the video, as I said earlier on, that I put up earlier on, he's got great composure. I mean, it looks like he buys himself time when he's defending, and the way he gets in front of the attacking player, and he's just very composed, even right at the death. When the ball is in the 18-yard box, in the 6-yard box, he seems to just be very, very calm and very composed. He reads the game really well, and he's very, very precise in his shot. Hardly gives any free kicks away, which is not bad. I mean, let's see what VAR does to him when he plays in the Premier League. But he's the sort of player that he's a very clean tackler of the ball, and I think that's fantastic. We're looking forward to having the player at West Ham United. Born in Morocco, Kenitra. He's 26 years of age. He was in the youth academy, the Mohammed VI Academy in Morocco, which was created back by the king there. It was created in 2009 to actually improve football in that country. And as you can see there, not that I'm reading too much into it, but Uzef En-Nesyri was also an academy player there as well. Who knows? His early career, he signed for Rabat, FUS Rabat in Morocco, primarily as a centre back, but he also made a few appearances as a left back there as well. In his senior career, he moved to France in 2018 for a fee of £1.4 million, where he played as he is a centre back, making 29 appearances for the club. He then moved to his last club, Rennes, for a fee of £3.4 million. And in 2021, now I don't know if many of you remember me saying this. I actually talked about Aguerd this time last year because apparently we were rumoured to be linked to him back then. But at that time, he signed an extended contract to stay with Rennes for till 2025. And he helped the team. You know, he made 80 appearances for them, and he helped the team getting into the Europa League for next season. He's a Moroccan international. He made his debut in 2016, and he's helped his country reach the 2022 World Cup finals as well, making 19 appearances. He's a Moroccan champions winner with FUS Rabat. He's also won the Moroccan Cup as well once. His contract with West Ham United. Now, look, there's the value that's being given out at the moment is that he's signed a deal for £30 million. I'm not so sure, because if you go back to that last stat I had there, he signed for Rennes for £3.4 million. Now, I'm not saying a player can't increase in value quite substantially. I think that £30 million is made up by a lot of different things, you know, sort of add-on fees, you know, bonuses, you know, depending on how well we do and all that sort of stuff. I think the fee is closer to around 25 million with add-ons. And I think we'll find out in due course. But does it matter? He's a West Ham player, and he's signed a 5-year contract as well. So we're going to have probably the best years of him. He's 26 years of age now, you know, and we've signed him for 5 years. So fantastic for us. So welcome again. Welcome to West Ham United. I think he's going to be great. You know, sometimes you're not sure with a player. I mean, we look at, you know, a lot of people will look at is a Diop, and I'm going to do a comparison. You know, I said earlier on, I'm going to do player comparisons of the players that we're linked with to the players that we currently have. And I'm going to do a bit of a comparison between Aguerd and, Aguerd and Diop, you know, and establish which of the two players, you know, is better overall. But anyway, before I move on, let's say hello to everyone in the chat. Good evening to you, Dabs. How are you? Apparently, Moyes wants another 6 or 7 players. Yeah. Now that's the rumor. Now apparently, Moyes wants to bring in 7 players. Now look. I said I'd like 6, and I thought myself that that was a bit ambitious. A lot of people are saying if we get 4 or 5 players in, we'd have done well. If Moyes really wants to get 7 players in, I'm going to go through later how he can do that and not even spend a lot of money. So wait for that as well. James, good evening to you. Good evening. I hope you're well, mate. Good evening to you, Paul. Good evening. Arcs. Good evening to you. I hope you're well. Andy Wilson, how are you, mate? Good evening, Darren. I hope you're well. Anthony, good evening to you. Ogbonna's 12-month contract is dependent on his passing a medical. Well, no, apparently it has been agreed. Apparently, you know, he is getting fitter. He was in the gym doing light training before the end of the season. And apparently it's not dependent on that. Would be better if we left and we kept Diop pace and helpful and help Aguerd settle in. Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, apparently he's really good friends with Pablo Fornals, Aguerd. He talked about when he went to Spain for something. I kind of caught a snapshot of it when he was talking earlier in the official video on the West Ham website, West Ham United website. And he knows Pablo Fornals, so they're good friends. So, yeah, I get you about Diop, but Ogbonna is staying, apparently. He will be staying for another season. Darren, how are you, mate? Going to put my money on Stell being 5 minutes late. Oh, you lost your money, mate. Good evening to you, Epic. How are you? He's probably forgot that. Yes. Bloody cheek. Anthony again. What time will I start? Clack here. What, we got one of the cats back, and I'll tell you, he wouldn't leave me alone. He's missed me. Andy, how are you, mate? I hope you're well. Andy, Pepper, good evening to you. Feeling a little stunned. We've actually signed the player. and and there's more to come. I reckon Areola will be the next signing, and then we'll be moving on from there. Andy again, never been on time. Do we all wait ages for? You don't have to wait ages. Oh dear, oh dear. I love the banter. Good evening, WHU. How are you? Can't believe we signed Aguerd. Well, believe, mate. There's a photo of him. Welcome to West Ham Aguerd. There, he's wearing the shirt. Believe it. Andy, now who hasn't been on the 6 foot? I know. Who hasn't been on there? Do you know what? Have I got the video? Let's do that now. Yeah, let's do that and get that out of the way. If you've yet to subscribe to 6foot2.co.uk, do so after this show. Andy, it really is a brilliant website. I'm not kidding. I'm not just saying it because I'm part of that setup, etc. But Andy does all the work there. Andy Dennis, who's in the chat, he does all the work, and he's put that transfer window together, the transfer section of that website together, and it is superb. It gives you everything you need to know. And if you miss that, you can always hear it on my channel anyway. But no, on a serious note, links to players, their stats, video links, etc., etc. It really is a fantastic website. So do subscribe to that. Darren, Areola will sign. Yes, I believe so. So 5 more after we get him done. I mean, do you know something? If we get 5 more players after Aguerd and Areola, I think that will be fantastic. And when I go through some of the players and do like I said, the comparison later on, it excites me. I'm actually beginning to get excited. Good evening to you, Howard. I hope you're well. Good evening, Pash Beats. I heard we got Aguerd. We absolutely have. Let's not be deterred. At least he's not a bird. He could have got Amber Turd. Good night. Is that the best you can do? Good evening, NWO. Good evening, Hammerette. How are you? Good evening, P. Gads. Don't get so excited. He'll probably get a few minutes at the end of a few games this year. He'll need time to adjust. Not for 25, 30 million pounds. I hope he bloody well plays almost every game. It's going to be interesting, but we need strength in depth. That's the one thing that we've always saying last season, that the thing that killed us off, especially the last 10 games of the season, was the fact that we didn't have strength in depth. So if we get another 7, but then how many players are going to leave? Remember a few weeks ago, I suggested we might have a smaller squad than we actually had in the 21-22 season. I still actually believe that. I still think we might actually end up with a smaller squad. But as I said, if we have a more qualitative squad, much better players, or players who are on at least a par, if not better than what we have, then I don't necessarily mind that. Good evening to you, James. I hope you're well. Good evening to you, Steve WHU. I hope you're well, mate. Good evening, Trini. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. Good evening, Juha. Evening. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining as well. Good evening, Neil. How are you? I hope you're well. PCAD's mid-30s. I love it. I love it. The hotter, the better. Don't you dare complain about the hot weather. Don't you dare. Good evening, Graham. How are you? From all the way from Alberta. I hope you're well, mate. Good evening, Serif. I'm very well, and I hope you are too. There you go, Darren. Naif is good friends with Pablo. Will help him settle in for sure. Absolutely. Andy, you started all them, mate. You see, as I keep saying, I don't start the rumors. I just do an awful lot of shit reading. I just go through every website to see what, and I pick up a story and I think, oh, that's interesting. We're linked with someone who plays for the Outer Mongolian reserve team, and apparently we're going to pay £40 million for him. Bernie, good evening to you. Interesting what you're saying, but it will come down to what money we have to spend. If we have 100, I'm going to go through that as well, mate, because I mean, this is strange because I was doing some sums earlier today, and unfortunately, I didn't have time to put it up on as a chart. But and I should do that more often because sometimes I don't explain myself well. But apparently, Moyes has been told that it's 150 million plus whatever he makes from selling players. And when I go through the list of players, I was like, surely not. Surely we haven't got all this much money left after we buy 7 players. Howard, saying hello to everyone. Wonderful. Trini, I hated the kit when it was launched, but seeing it on Aguerd makes it. You know what? We were out at the weekend and I popped into a sports shop just to look at it. And the first time I saw the shirt hanging on the hanger, I thought, oh, and then I thought, actually, do you know something? It's one of those kits that will grow on you. And if we're winning, I don't give a shit what it looks like. No, I do give a shit, but it is weird. You're absolutely right, Trini. It does look better on than off. Weirdly enough, Lee. Good evening to you. Can't wait for our season to start. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about the pre-season fixtures as well as a brief look at the fixture, the first few games of our fixture list as well. I hope you're well. London is always claret and blue, mate. James, never in a million years have we got fun. Well, we don't know. We may not even need it. So bear with me when I get to that part of the show and see what you think. Hammerette, Lanzini looks pretty decent in the new kit. Give it a rest. Epic. He couldn't have his number 6, so he picked number 27. Yeah, we said that. Yeah, it was weird, isn't it? Can I have the number 6? No, you can't. Anthony, we will know at the end of the window how much he was given. Still believe it's 150 million. I actually think it is because it's money that he didn't have. He had up to 50 million to spend in the transfer window in January. And the story now goes is that he was given 30 and Kretinsky said, I will top that up to something, buy another 20 or something like that. So he had 50. So you can almost bank that and say, there's 50 million already because he didn't spend it in January. And the rumor is that, that there was another 100 million anyway with sales that happened, etc., etc. So if it is 150 million, the question I always asked, of course, is can David Moyes spend 150 million pounds? Is that possible? James, I've made a lamb tagine to mark the occasion, all washed down with a cheeky Vin Rouge de Aussie. Get you, Darren. We had 150. Well, we had 50 million in January, according to what Moyes told the Kidderminster manager. So 150 million is not out. I don't think it's out of the question. Whichever way you look at it, it's not out of the question. P-Gads, 27 because he's yeah. The banter started early. Good evening, Anil. Hi, all. Feeling positive about the signing, whoever else comes in. It makes us all feel good, doesn't it? At last, we haven't waited to the last 3 days of the transfer window to start making bids for players, etc. At last, we've got one, over the line. Areola's got to be next, without a shadow of a doubt. Areola's got to be next. What did Howard ask? Because do we know what wage is on? No, haven't seen it. Haven't seen it being mentioned. But I would wager that when he was playing for Rennes, he was probably on about, I don't know, 20 grand a week, something like that, give or take. So I would think he's probably being put on, I don't know, even if he doubles that, and then his salary goes up incrementally over the years. That won't be bad. So let's guess, shall we? Let's say he's probably on 40 grand a week, 45 grand a week, which is roughly in keeping with some of the other defenders that we have at the club. So roughly speaking, I would say that would be about the sort of salary he is on. Andy, Twitter had a nice feeling today. If we ain't signed Areola and close to another by this time next week, it'll be another meltdown. It absolutely will be. Neil, it's not my money. I don't care how much he costs as long as he's good enough. Good point. Absolutely good point. And from what we've seen, and like I said, after the show, do watch the 5-minute video which shows snippets of him, of him playing, and plus other details, etc. And see what you think. See how you feel after you watch that video. Graham, Listening while I'm at work. It's only 2:10 p.m. here. Keep up the good. Thank you, Graham, and thank you for joining, mate. Always appreciated. Good evening to you, Daniela. How are you? Nice of you to join as well. I hope you're well. Mr. Barrett, how are you? Evening, everyone. Starting a bit late. Suits me fine. I'm only in. That's okay, mate. You ain't missed much. Trust me. I've only been talking about Aguerd. Good evening to you, Philip. How are you? Let's hope a striker or two are next on the list. I've still got this feeling that we won't sign a striker, Philip. I'm really sorry to say. However, I think that what Moyes might do, and I've kind of alluded to it before, is that he'll buy a couple of attacking players to make up for not having a striker and mix them around. He kind of did that. If you remember when Lingard came to us, and I'm not saying Lingard, in terms of getting him now. I'm just saying when he was with us in the last season or the season before last, that's what Moyes did, didn't he? He kind of utilised Lingard as like a 1 minute a false number 9, then out on the left, then out and then in the middle, etc., mixing players around. And I think that's Moyes' style. So it will not surprise me 1 minute if we don't buy a striker, but I think we will get a couple of attacking players in order to mix it around up front. But I could be wrong. He might have a striker lined up. He might have En-Nesyri, his mate, Aguerd's mate, coming in. Good evening to you, Peter. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. I'm a shameless rumour merchant. Well, got to get the numbers up for the show, haven't I? Peter again. Don't show yourself getting excited on this channel. You're never banned getting excited on this channel. Good evening to you, Mr. Wriggler. New name. Or it could be this one person I might know with a new title. I don't know. Good evening to you. It's early days, but I feel we will unload more players than we bring in. I agree. I've just alluded to that. I think we will. I actually do think we will, and I will go through that in a minute. Silver Hammer. Good evening to you. 5 more. 3 of them will probably be academy players. Then not so. Not so. Good evening to you, Garino. I hope you're well. First signing in, pitchforks and burning effigies put away. At least for a week. Good evening, Devon. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm very well. Andy, yes, I would too, to be honest with you. And I've done a few videos. Andy, I need your help. Actually, I've done a few videos like with throwing in with a bit of playing stuff, and I've done one on Lewis Potter, and I got really excited. I actually knew he was good. I didn't realise just how good that young lad is. I've done that one. Anthony. Linked with Torino. Vlasic is linked with Torino. Seville, had you expect? They are all loans. Moyes, I think Moyes wants to get as much money back as he can for him. But Vlasic is likely to be one of the players going. Good evening, English Yardie. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. Garino, I will complain about the hot weather. No, you won't. Hasn't rained for months. Well, it rained here on the weekend. Temps about 35 degrees. But like watching David Kelly, what's to like, mate? Stop moaning. You'll be when the bad weather comes, you'll be wishing it was sunny. Dean Martin, you're going to sing us a song. Seeing a croon. Seeing as a signing, mate. Sorry, mate. Thank you for joining. Seeing as a signing made the Monday a bit more cheerful ahead of all the tube strikes. I know, tube strikes. Not that I'm going anywhere. I work from home. I've been doing for the last 2.5 years. Conan, good evening to you. I'm late. You're not that late, mate. Don't worry. Any thoughts on the possibility of Ward-Prowse? No. Not if he's going for 70 million. Absolutely not. He'd be the perfect for Soucek. Good point. And further enhance our corners. Some players cost what they have to cost. I genuinely think, to be honest with you, that 70 million would be far too much for him. There are other players that I'm going to mention later on, but I've not. Ward-Prowse is not one of them. Good evening, Philip. Again, all the way from Turkey. Thank you for joining, mate. Really, really appreciate that. I hope you're well. Let's scroll down. Andy, agree still that the kit is growing on me, but let's not tell Nigel we're turncoats. He'll like it. Don't worry. He'll love it by the end of the season. Daniela, Ryan Giggs has resigned as what? Why? With immediate effect. But they made the World Cup and all that. What happened there? Other shenanigans going on in the background that we shouldn't know about, I guess. But oh well. Tony, good evening to you. Tony Hammer Ryan. I keep Diop and let Dawson go as he wants to go back up north. I would too. Not because I don't think Dawson's any good, etc. I think Dawson's been great for us. I would keep Diop, but the rumours are knocking around that it's likely to be Diop that's going. Bernie, if we were in a bit of silverware, we would all love the shirt. Very true. But that's the shirt that got us relegated in the 90s, wasn't it? I'm not suggesting for a minute, don't get me wrong, but it's a bit of a, Good evening to you, Hakuna Matata. Declan Rice to Chelsea is on. Brozier Rice swap. I love a good joker when they come on. I hope you're well, Hakuna. Thank you for joining the show. Trini, so what about league position, TV money and money? Yeah. That's why I think we've got 150 million pounds. We earned something like 225 odd million pounds last season with all the money, Europe, etc., etc. But then the player wages, you've got to pay player wages, etc., etc. That's why I think there is around 150-ish million pounds. But I don't think we'll spend that much, and I'll explain why later as I get on, as I go on the show. James, that shirt had better grow on me, considering all the excess Guinness I've been drinking. Pegads, I heard in the local Moroccan dialect that G is pronounced T and D is pronounced. I heard in the local Moroccan dialect the G is pronounced like a T, a Ted? No, and the and the and the D is pronounced. You've lost me. I'm sorry, mate. I'm calling him. Well, I heard the video. He said Aguerd, 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 Aguerd. That's what I'm going to call him. Silverhammer. I know we're not even out of this window, but do you think the January window is going to be affected by the World Cup? Wow, that's a really good question. I didn't even think of that. That's a really, really good question. I think probably yes. I think it's going to be quite interesting. See, the January window is always a weird one anyway. But players are going to come back, and some players are going to make their mark in the World Cup, etc. And I just wonder how many players might go thinking that they've done well in the World Cup, and maybe wanting to sort of leave in January. People have talked about Declan. People are saying that if Declan has a great World Cup, he won't wait till next summer. He might want to move in January. Could work both ways. Could work both ways. Yeah, good point. Neil, yeah, 150 million once Deck go. Shut up. He will go, but he won't be leaving soon. He will be going next. Look, he'll be going next summer. We know that. We just got to prepare ourselves for it. It's simple as that. Kimbo, good evening to you. I hope you're well. Brozier's worth 70. Hakuna, mate, you're going to make me smile all the way through the show. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. Hakuna's Brozier's worth 75 mil. Mate, don't stop taking the medicines, okay? Peter, would have been much happier had we signed an actual striker. Peter, we're not going to sign a striker. Daniela, Hakuna Matata, Declan Rice to Chelsea is on. Brozier Rice swap, not going to happen this summer. They need a striker. It ain't going to happen. Don't worry about it. Good evening, Jim. How are you? If you didn't guess, I'm the. That's for you, Hammerette, not for me. Howard, Yamuna. You can have Yamuna. Hakuna. You can have Rice. We'll take Gallagher, Brozier, and 100 million. That would be a fair deal. I'd love Gallagher to come. I don't know about Brozier just yet. To be honest, I want to see another season out of him. To be honest with you, I want to see, just how good he can be. He had what, a season at Southampton, and you could argue he kind of fell away after he scored a goal against us in the cup and knocked us out, and then he kind of fell away, didn't he? Who else have we got in here? Jim again. Number 10 is the only place where JWP will fit us. Yeah, so he will play that central midfield role, but you're absolutely right. He'd play much more advanced, wouldn't he? He'd want to be that like a Lanzini type player or Fornals when we first got him. So you got a good point. Good evening to you, Alex. I hope you're well. I've heard about Rice. Oh, don't. We've been hearing about it for 2 years. It's 1:30 p.m. Thank you for joining, Jim. I really appreciate it. Daniela, birthday on the 1st of July. A signing would be nice. Happy advanced birthday. Well, no, we can have time. Well, we'll do another couple of shows before that. But if you're not on, then happy advanced birthday to you. Dean again. Get Dennis from Watford and the striker from Seville. They're both in my list here, mate. So do wait for that. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let's go to the next part of the show. And what is the next part of the show? I'm going to talk about the preseason schedules, if I can find them. Just a little bit of difference. So we've now been told that our preseason is going to start in Servette in the Stade de Geneva on Friday, the 8th of July at 6 p.m. local time. Just been announced. It was announced the other day. So we're away in France. We're in the sunny place of Evian in France, doing pre-season training for a week, and the week will end there when we play Servette just across the border on the 6th of July, and then we come back on domestic turf, and we play Ipswich Town. The team will be split in two. David Moyes has got a new habit of splitting the team into two, splitting the squad into two. Sorry, and one team playing both teams going. Oh, start again, shall I? The squad is split into two, and they both go off and play games at the same time. So Ipswich Town and Boreham Wood, both on Tuesday, the 12th of July at 7 p.m. And then we move on to Reading. We played them last season, pre-season as well, on the 16th of July at 3 p.m. And then for now, ending at Luton Town on Saturday, the 23rd of July. There are rumours that apparently we're going to go over. We're going to go up to Scotland as well to do pre-season training as well. Moyes loves to go back home and give the lads a run out at St Andrews, etc. So that'll be on. And apparently there might be a pre-season game against Rangers, is what I'm hearing, but I don't know the date just yet. Maybe it's come out while I've been preparing the show. I don't know. And then there's the Betway Cup. Now, we may not have the Betway Cup as the opener to the season at the stadium, because the stadium will still be being rebuilt. The West Stand, as we know, is going to have more seats in it, more expensive seats. But unfortunately, no fans are going to be any closer to the stadium. I know that Sean Whetstone counted some like 22 seats closer to the stadium, closer to the pitch. That doesn't count. 22 bloody seats out of something like 1600 doesn't count. So they're reconfiguring the West Stand, etc., having new plush expensive seats and so on. So whilst they're doing that, they may not have time to actually have the Betway Cup at the London Stadium. But what I'm hearing is that there may be a pre-season friendly against Rangers coming up. That could be maybe a few days after the Luton game. I don't know. But when I hear about it, I'll let you know. Now, also, West Ham, the under 23s, the pre-season has been set up as well. The under 23s, they start their pre-season on Saturday the 9th against Sporting Lisbon under 21s. Then they come back to Ebbsfleet, AFC Bournemouth, Lincoln, and then finish off at Denham and Redbridge. Now, what's interesting about this is that usually David Moyes brings together the whole squad. He will have the senior squad and the under 23s. He'll probably take a number of the under 23s over to Evian in France when they do pre-season training there. But most of them will be playing as part of this pre-season friendly. What Moyes has done, he's utilised some of the under 23s throughout the whole of pre-season. And that's where we speculated in the past about maybe certain under 23s maybe becoming part of the senior squad. So it's going to be interesting when the under 23s do their pre-season training and their pre-season games, which of them go there and which of them stay behind with the senior squad. So we'll look out for that, because that might give you some sort of insight as to whether any of the under 23s might progress into the senior squad. Someone mentioned, yeah, we'll just have a whole load of under 23s to make up the numbers. It might be possible. There's one or two under 23s that might possibly be staying with the senior squad throughout the season. I think it'd be good for them. I think they relish playing with the under 20 with the senior squad, so it'd be great. And then of course we look at our fixtures, our Premier League fixtures, and you know damn well all this is going to change in terms of days and times, etc. But we kick off with Man City, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Man City! Who cares? We're going to have to play every team twice anyway, so why not get the worst out of the way?" And to be quite honest with you, we haven't done too badly against Man City, have we? In recent, certainly last season, we knocked them out of the League Cup. We drew 2-2 with them when we actually should have beaten them in the penultimate game of the season. And we had a narrow defeat in the snow, didn't we? When was it? Last November or something? When we marginally lost 2-1 against them. So we haven't done too badly. And then, of course, there's Nottingham Forest. The new boys. They're back in the Premier League. After quite a number of years away, they're going to be up for that. Newcastle United. I'm trying to find my notes as to when we last played them and when we last beat them, etc. I can't find them, so I'm sure I'll get them somewhere. But that's going to be an interesting game. They're going to want to do well in the Premier League, and it's not gonna be an easy away task. I think the last time we actually played them, I think I wrote it down somewhere. I don't know why I can't find it. I think the last time we played them was when we lost 5-0 in the cup, when Sam Allardyce put our young players out to the slaughter, and we got absolutely trounced 5-0 by them. That was the League Cup. I'm pretty sure it was, and I can't remember what year it was. 90. I'm not going to guess, but that I'm certain what was the last time we played them. And then, of course, we got our nemesis. We got Brighton. I mean, what a game of two halves that was. The last game of the season in the last season when we were winning, playing really well in the first half. Man United were losing. Sixth place was ours. And then what the hell happened in the second half where we just got absolutely shot to pieces and we just looked like a shadow of the team that we were when we went out in the first half. And what a shame. What a shame. And then, of course, we got Villa. You know, the big spending Aston Villa is going to be an interesting game. And then we're at home to Spurs to finish off our August fixtures. But you know things are going to change there. You know, games are going to be played on TV, going to be shown on TV. So that's going to, that's going to move games and all that sort of stuff. Our first game's already been moved to the Sunday at 4:30 kickoff. But I'm looking forward to it. It doesn't matter who we play and when we play them. You know, we just got to just worry about ourselves, play our game. Like I said, Man City, all right, okay. Haaland's, what was it? Last time he made a debut, he scored a hat-trick in 21 minutes. Dawson's going to have him in his pocket. When you're looking to where Haaland is on the pitch, just have a look at Dawson's pocket and you'll just see him going, help, get me out, get me out. So don't worry about it. Dawson will be fine with him. And if he ain't, Dawson will just hack him down and he'll be out for 3 months or something. Like that. No, I don't wish bad on any player, to be honest with you. I mean, Haaland, yeah. I mean, apparently, in the Friday show, Nigel said that he had a bad season last season and he only scored 29 goals. Fucking hell. Let's not worry about it, But I'm looking forward to the season coming up. Loads of pre-season games there for you guys to attend, and more details will come up about whether you can get tickets, etc. for any of these pre-season friendlies will appear on the official West Ham website soon. What else do we have to talk about? What else shall I move on to? Let's see. Pre-league, Premier League fixtures, blah blah blah. Yeah, done that. Let's talk about a little bit about the women's team. The women's team have signed two players. Well, they were loan signings. First off, is Hala Hussein. She came to West Ham United in January on loan. And she signed on a permanent basis, 17 years of age. She's a hammer through and through. So welcome on a permanent basis to Halle Hussein and also to Lisa Evans. Lisa Evans was also with us on loan last season, and she's also signed permanently for West Ham. She made 22 appearances last season for West Ham United, Scottish international as well. So welcome to her as well. The women's team have made more signings than we have so far. Right, okay. What about well, actually, before I do that, well, no, actually, this is part of it. Players leaving. There's so many rumours, and people have alluded to it about so many of our players leaving, let alone players that we want to buy. And let's start off with go back to the academy for a minute, shall we? Because there's been one or two players that have been rumoured to be leaving West Ham United. The first one is Emmanuel Longello. We all saw him in action when he played in the Europa League, and everybody praised him and said he was man of the match for that game, etc. And he looked decent, didn't he? But then he was out injured. People wondered where he got to after that game. But he got injured, and then he only returned for a last handful of games for the under-23s near the end of the season. A decent player, but the rumours are that there are a number of teams interested in him. And one of the teams that's interested in him is Hibernian in Scotland. Now, Hibernian in Scotland have got this guy, Josh Doig. Now, I talked about Josh Doig about a year and a half or so ago when he was about 18, 19 years of age. Doig is a very, very highly rated left back. For Hibernian. Now, I wonder if Hibernian are looking for a left back. I wonder if Doig is on his way. There were a number of teams interested in him a couple of years, a year and a half or so ago, and I just wonder if, and I'm speculating. I'm not going to throw that rumor out there. Don't blame me if it's not true, because I'm not saying it is true. But I'm speculating if Hibernian want Longello, I wonder if we want Josh Doig. Look out for him. Have a read up about him. He's a very, very interesting player, and there's a good reason why Hibernian are after him. And apparently, we're also Rangers apparently are interested in him, and we're interested in Calvin Bassey. Am I putting two and two together again? Look, Bassey's fantastic. He's had a great season for Rangers, and you kind of saw the way he played in the Europa League final, in the Ranger in the Scottish FA, Scottish Cup final, etc., etc. Very very good player. Now, if Rangers are also looking at a left back, could it be that Bassey's on his way somewhere? West Ham, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? Look, I don't want to spread those rumours out. I'm not saying that we're either in for Doig or for Bassey, but Bassey would be a decent player, wouldn't he, to get? Now, who else apparently is going? Now, we've also heard rumours that a number of Championship teams are interested in Ajibola Ulese. As we know, Alese was with the West Ham senior squad for most of last season. Didn't make a lot of games. He only had one appearance in the Europa League again. But there are a number of teams interested in him. Now, look, he's got a contract till 2023. Actually, let's see. What about Longelo? Longelo's contract, I think, is also till 2023 as well. Alese's contract's till 2023 with an option of 1 year. Now, look. A lot of us like Alese. A lot of us think he's a really, really good player, and maybe he should have been given more opportunities in the senior squad. There were many chances to do so. Not only can he play, not only is he a centre back, he can also play at left back. Last pre-season, when he was with the senior squad, he played at left back for quite a number of games, and we all thought that maybe we didn't buy a left back. We thought, well, maybe Ajibola Alese would be that cover. He wasn't even given that opportunity. Cresswell was out injured for a number of games when he did his back in. We lost a number of our centre backs, etc. I sometimes you wonder what Moyes is thinking. I mean, he sees these players day in day out. He knows better than we do whether they're actually ready to play in the senior squad or not, or in the senior team or not. But it's quite interesting that Alese didn't get a lot of much game time at all. Now, with the fact that he's got 1 year on his contract left with a 1 year option, I think he will go out on loan. I don't think we'll sell him. I think there are a number of teams that will like him. I think a number of teams would like to have him at the club, and I think that would be good for him. I think it would be fantastic for a player like Alesi to go out on loan for a season, get some really good game time, and come back and stake a claim in the senior squad. Because let's not forget, at the end of next season, we will lose Dawson if he stays with us, because that'll be at the end of his contract. We will also lose Ogbonna as well, and he's 34 years of age. Dawson will be, what, 33 years of age, or Ogbonna will be 34, maybe coming up to 35. So those two centre backs will be leaving. And if we also sell Diop, kind of not sure about that at the moment. If we also sell Diop, that will leave us quite short of central defenders. It will leave us with Zuma, and it will leave us with Aguerd, who we've just signed. So maybe Ajibola Ulese going out on loan for one season might be good. If he does well, he can come back and stake a claim in the senior team as a proper senior player rather than just bench warming. And then, of course, we've got this young man whose agent must be, well, I don't know what to say about his agent. Um, I've said what I've had to say about Sonny Perkins. I like him. I think he's a great prospect. You can see from his stats there. He scores goals for fun. He's a decent player. He's a decent prospect, which is what's good. And now he's got a year left on his contract as well. And apparently he won't sign, or his agent won't let him sign a new contract, because they want more money. They want him to have bigger wages, etc. Now, I think he's a great player. I think he's a great I think he's a great prospect. I don't think he's yet a great player. I think he's got a long, long way to go. And I've seen the way he plays, and great. He came, he tried to do his best. He had, what, 2 or 3 appearances last season, etc. Try to do his best, etc. But he's got a long, long way to go. So for his agent to be asking for bigger money, and I don't know what this bigger money is, £1,000 a week, maybe. West Ham have said, it's not going to be in parity with other under 23 players. It will be a shame if he goes, but a lot of these rumours about him leaving have died down. We've not heard any more about Aston Villa coming in for him, or any other team coming in for him. And I wonder if that's his agent sort of putting his name out there, trying to get West Ham, trying to force West Ham's hand to actually give him a better deal. I think he should knuckle down, get on with it, do well next season, and then If you do even better and better, that's when you start asking for bigger money. He's made 3 senior appearances, cameo appearances at best. We're not sure just yet what he's really got. Look, he's played for the England under-18s. He scored in the last game that he played for the England under-18s. He's a great prospect, without a shadow of a doubt. Is he ready to have big money thrown at him? I'm not so sure. Let me stop there, and before I go on to the senior players that could be leaving, and just catch up on your comments. Where should we go? Hammerette, Alec, who hasn't Rice been linked with? Absolutely. Peter, is Moyes scared he will disintegrate if he signed a striker? I actually think he doesn't like strikers. I really do. I'm not going to read that, Darren. That was written half an hour ago. Hakuna, let's have another laugh. Why would Rice wait 1 more year? Makes sense. Swap deal. You already got Zuma. We paid big money for Zuma, mate, and we're not about to give you Declan for nothing. So, I mean, honestly, Hakuna, with the greatest of respect, mate, he's not going to Chelsea. You're probably going to get him next season. You'll probably get him for a discount, but we need him at this moment in time, and we're not going to let him go. Even if you do decide to spend 150 million on him. Pete, just 19 likes, 131 watching. Thank you. I'm really rubbish at promoting myself. So if you're watching, if this is the first time you're watching, please hit the like button. That really helps the channel. And also please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification that pops up. And then you'll know when I'm next on. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, etc., that would be great. I'd love that if you do that. Conan, wasn't Vlasic also heavily scouted, fancied by Moyes? See, this is the odd one. He must have been. Didn't we hear that Aguerd rhetoric about him too, or have I got that wrong? Vlasic must have been scouted by Moyes. He must have been. But the thing I'm worried about with Vlasic is if he does go, Vlasic has made it very clear that his best position is the centre. You know, we talked about maybe a number 10 role, etc. That's where he works best. What Moyes has done is throughout the whole season is he put him out wide, and some players are just not adaptable. I know Moyes' ethos is, if you're a footballer, you're a footballer. You should be able to play anywhere I put you, etc. And you look at sort of the way he's turned Fornals around. Making him Fornals was like a number 8, number 10 type role, but Fornals started to play out left wing back, left midfield, centre, etc., etc. Fornals has adapted, and he was capable of doing that. He wants Benrahma to do the same. I think he got frustrated with Benrahma because he also wanted him to be more defensive minded as well as attack minded. We've seen what he did in the past on Artovic, converting him from a winger to a striker. He's going to do that with Bowen. I'm pretty sure he's going to convert him from a winger to a striker. So Moyes likes a player that's versatile, and Vlasic, unfortunately, some players are just not versatile. Vlasic is better in the middle, but Moyes has rarely used it in the middle. And all of a sudden, it's like everyone's on Vlasic's back. I feel sorry for Vlasic. I don't think he's done it. I admit, I don't think he's done it. But it's going to be interesting to see if he does leave and if he ends up playing for a team in central midfield, central attacking midfield, just how different a player he'll be. Jim, we've unloaded more over the past 2 seasons than brought in already. We can't afford another season of that. I think we will. I mean, it's interesting that rumours are being bandied around that we're going to bring 7 players in. Excuse me. But I think we actually will be having more players leaving. We've already lost 4 already. Okay, you could argue. David Martin, 4th choice keeper. He was never going to get game time anyway. Ryan Fredericks was rarely playing, but he was mostly injured anyway as well. And you could argue Yarmolenko. Yeah, we do need a replacement for him. And you can definitely argue we do need a replacement for Mark Noble. So of the 4 players that have already left, you could argue that 2 of those we have to replace. In terms of goalie, we're going to have Randolph, we're going to have Areola, we've got Fabianski, so we're all right there. But I think we have unloaded more players over the past couple of seasons. I think this is the last of the shedding of players that David Moyes doesn't want to have. Trini, Hakuna, Brozier and Gallagher plus 20 million, then we might start talking. No, we won't. Good evening to you, Crosshammer. Hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Hammerette, going to love watching Aguerd in claret and blue. A great signing. Absolutely is. Did I mention I did a little video about him? Do go and watch it after the show on this channel, West Ham Voice. Daniela, Hakuna Matata, he does because deep down he wants to stay at West Ham and win things. Yeah. I like that. Good evening, Stephen Baptiste. How are you? No matter what, he cannot get a striker in. Be hell if he miss out like season gone. Look, I do. I want a striker. Don't get me wrong. I want David Moyes to buy a striker like everybody else. If he doesn't, it won't surprise me. And I know I'm laughing, but I shouldn't. But if he doesn't get a striker, it won't surprise me. But what I think he will do in order to compensate is what I said a moment ago. I think we'll get players adaptable like Dennis, Sarr, Lewis Potter, those sorts of players that can play in different positions. And that will be his, answer to not having a striker. Do I agree with it? I'm a bit old fashioned. I like a 20 goal a season striker. But when was the last time we had a 20 goal a season striker? Oops, it's jumped. The chat's jumped. Do forgive me. Scott, good evening to you. We really need a striker. I reckon we will sign the Watford duo and a left back plus Areola and hopefully another two more players. Let's wait and see, hopefully. Is Emmanuel Dennis an out and out striker? I'm not so sure that he is, but I get you. Yeah, and those two players are in my list as well. Dennis and Sarr. Let's scroll down. Dean. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Raum. He's just a brilliant left back. Yeah, David Raum would be amazing if we can convince him to come. And I'm going to show you how we can afford him when I get to that part of the show. Ian, Syria, our club, Torino plus possibly goes in on Nikola Vlasic. I don't know about it being on loan. I think Moyes wants the money, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Trini, he hasn't managed them since 2020, apparently. He resigned today. Is that you talking about the Wales manager, Crosshammer? I was saying the exact same thing about 70 million too much for him. Could get two decent players. You're talking about Ward-Prowse. I don't think he's worth 70 million. With the greatest of respect, I actually really don't. Mr. Wriggler, do you think Moyes should play some academy players to finally evaluate their work? Absolutely do. And this is the interesting thing because for the last two seasons that Moyes has been in charge of pre-season, he has used a huge number of under 23s in pre-season. Like I said earlier, he used Ajibola Olise as a left back. We saw quite a lot of young players playing in the under 23s, even some of the early pre-season games, and I'm sure you're going to see that again. Pre-season starts, I think, what did I say, 6th of July or something. You might still have some of your senior players away on holiday because they have to be, they're given a month off. So there'll be a bit of an overlap. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of the under 23 players playing in some of the senior pre-season games. Moyes has done that before, and that's why I got excited about certain under 23s, thinking, he's using them for the pre-season. Maybe this is their chance, but then they were all just shoved over to one side and just left, which was odd. I don't know. Did Moyes think he had enough in his senior squad not to have to use the under 23s? I think we found out that there were occasions when he didn't have enough. We had a whole raft of injuries, etc. Moyes could have utilised the under 23s then, but they'll certainly appear in pre-season without a doubt. Steve, yes, he has. Origi is signed for. Oh, it's either a Spanish or an Italian team. Arthur Scargill's on a free. Dabs, have you heard that we've begun negotiations with Bros? No, I haven't. No. I will be very surprised if we have. Do I want him? I like him. I think he'll be the sort of player that Moyes would prefer. A young striker who will probably have to sit on the bench because Antonio will be the first choice. I'm not so sure, though, that we'll go for a Broja, to be honest. Let's see. Let's see. Andy, I like this one from someone in Twitter. Stel, can you sing it, please? I haven't looked at Twitter, so I'll look at that later. Andy, Naya for Gerd's magic. He wears a magic hat. He could have been a Geordie. He didn't fancy that. He wants to play with Zuma and said Benrahma too. His name is Naya for Gerd and he wears the claret and blue. Nice one. Who made that up? You didn't do that, Andy, did you? Do you like my singing? I won't sing again. Peter. Biggest shock in football if we played 70. It would be a big shock, to be honest with you, if we played 70 million for Ward-Prowse. Ain't Chelsea in for Sterling? I don't know. Interesting. Sterling. Dean, think Dennis will be a good get from Watford. The only bright spark from an incredibly poor side. I agree with you there. Absolutely too. I did just sing. Dab, still, you said that you want to see another season from Broha. However, let's say he has an even better season next year. It might be too late. Yeah, very, very true. Very, very true. I get that. I don't know. I kind of resigned that I just don't think we're going to get a striker. And when I go through the list of players, I'll kind of explain why in a minute. Yeah, Peter. Yeah, possibly a Rangers game. I heard that today. Good evening to you, Pat. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. Vinay, good evening to you. Serviette versus West Ham should be able to clean up. Well done, mate. Well done. How long did it take you to put that one together, eh, Vinay? Alone with option to buy would be ideal epic. For who? Broja? Yeah? If that's who you mean. Greetings from Gary from Southwest Florida. I haven't seen you for a while, Gary. I hope you're well. Thank you for joining, mate. Much appreciated. Let's scroll down. Who else have we got here? Uh, the Sweaty Jock match could be the 19th of July. 19th of July. I don't know. How would that work out? Hang on a minute. Let's just have a look here. 19th of July. So we got a game on the 12th, a game on the 16th. Well, I don't know. I'm not so sure, mate, because if you look at those Reading on the 16th and then Luton on the 23rd, are we going to jump up to Rangers to play them? Because I think it'll be away. So I'm not so sure that'll be. I reckon, if anything, it might be after the Luton game. But mate, you might be right. You might be right. Let's scroll down. Who else we got here? Good evening to you, Tony Hammer. West Ham are in talks with Chelsea now over. It's interesting because that must have broken whilst I was on, because I try and do a final check on all the stories to try and bring myself as up to date as possible. I haven't seen that, so you're the second one that has said that. So that'll be quite interesting. 25 to 30 million. Look, I won't say no. Don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against the player at all. I think I think he's a, he's a talent. I think he will only get better having had a season in the Premier League. I just kind of, like I said earlier, and maybe I'm absolutely wrong. I kind of think I just wanted to see a bit more of him. But I stand by it. If he's definitely, if we're in negotiations, I think that's good. Good. Peter, Lincoln game is under 23s. Yes, it is. That's right. The under 23s list. Lincoln versus West Ham on the 26th. Thank you for that, mate. And some of the under 18s will move up without a doubt. And that's what Moyes did as well. You saw some of the under 18s, some of the academy players playing with the under 23 squad, and some of the under 23s moving with the senior squad. And he'll do that again. Dabs. Romano said that we're interested in fine order midfielder Koku. I don't know what to say about Romano. We've got so many ITKs knocking around. And wasn't it Moyes that said about Romano who? How many players are we going to be linked to? I don't know. Let's see. PGADS. After the way the under 23s played, I hope Elise, Ashby, Perkins, and Coventry go on loan, get some good first team action. Now, a lot of these players, Elise, 1 year plus another year. Ashby, I don't know. I don't know how many years he's got left. Perkins got another year. Coventry's in his last year as well. I'm hoping it will happen for Coventry. I hope he's done enough to prove that he can be part of the senior squad now, even if it is, just part of the, making up the numbers, etc., coming on in cup games, etc. I've already mentioned Delacey. I think Ashby's a great prospect. I think Perkins has got a way to go. Pat, see you, mate. Thank you for joining. Much appreciated. Darren. We might catch Man City cold first game of the season. They don't usually start well. Absolutely. Jim, except last time we started the season when then we lost 5-0. Well, yeah, but that was a long time ago. Crosshammer, we need to play better preseason teams, in my opinion. I get you. I think there was talk about some American tour. I don't know if it's for this clearly not for this preseason. I wonder if it'd be for next season. There was some talk about being in some American tour with bigger teams. I don't know. WHU, what date and time was the Ebbsfleet friendly? Let's have a look. I don't know the times, I'm afraid. They weren't listed, but it's on the 15th of July, mate. And if you go onto the official West Ham website, it should give you more details. Scott, just like the video, don't forget to help the channel out there. Thank you very much, Scott. Really appreciated. Much appreciated, mate. Good evening to you, Pete. How are you? I'm very well, Pete. I hope you are too. Daniela, don't forget Man City are notoriously bad. There you go. 3 points are in the bag already. Haaland is going to go limping off. Be out for 3 months. Jim, love how random the first match is. Not that we like an ABBA pattern going. Oh, damn it. Oh, I don't know why. I'm going to have to write to the people that host this platform. Good evening to you, Scott. How are you? I don't know why the chat's sorry, I'm talking to myself. The chat jumps. It used to jump and it stopped and now it's jumping again. I hope you're well, Scott. Thank you for joining, mate. Bill, any news on Stuart Pearce? Can't believe he left so quickly without. No, it's been talked about and Piercy kind of alluded to it as well. He said, "I've turned 60. He doesn't want to travel. He's just got married. He wants to go to more gigs. He wants to do things like radio shows, take it easier, etc." A lot of us thought, "Oh, there's more in it than there really will than we've been told," but apparently not. Apparently, it really is quite genuine that he just wants to take it easy. And fair play to him. Fair play. He's going to be a big miss. He's going to be a big miss. Epic. Aguerd actually put Mbappe in his pocket, and he's faster than Haaland. He's rapid. Like I said after the show, go and look at my channel. Look at the Welcome Aguerd video I did earlier today, and it shows you a few snippets. Peter, any news on the under five squad? Any news on the under five squad? Darren, who is the German girl who signed? She done a centerfold. She's smoking. Uh, It wasn't Lisa Evans. I don't know actually. There might be another one. I might have missed the story. I did read something, but I didn't pick up the name. Dawson will kick Haaland into La La Land. Pash. Bill Clark Pierce left with hope to join the Stranglers as lead singer. There you go, Hammerette. I think we'll end up getting En-Nesyri following his poor season. Played with Aguerd too. They were both in the academy. I don't know if they were in the academy at the same time because there's 2 years age difference. I think En-Nesyri is 24. But I'm not sure if they actually played in the same teams. Dabs. Still, apparently the reason why our home shorts are blue, not white, is because our third kit is going to be white. X said our third kit should be white and I've heard this. White and orange. Leave off. I mean, no. Uh, White kits we've had, but orange? What the hell's all that about? And the second kit, black with bloody what color is black and I don't know, peach or something? What's going on here? Anil, HH, I wouldn't mind En-Nesyri. He was decent against us, and Areola excelled in that game. He absolutely did. Well, interesting. Steve thinks it weren't over impressed. I actually thought he was impressed, but he has had a bad season. He's only scored 5 goals. Garino, Al Raspadori link from. Yes, I read that, and I ignored it. To be honest with you, mate, because we've been linked with a lot of players from Italy, which not many of them are going to be happening. Was the Diop or Aguerd title? No, it's not. I'm getting to it. But I haven't got to it just yet. I am going to do an analysis, so just bear with me while I go through a few more comments. Jamie, I'm praying we can find find a way for Rafinha. Yeah, Rafinha would be good. It'd be interesting. I think Sarr from Watford would be a cheaper option, though, to be honest with you. Hammerette, Steve, looking at him last season, you probably wouldn't say that then. Are you talking about En-Nesyri? Yeah. Darren, En-Nesyri is gashing those 2 games, scored 5 all season, 1 season wonder. No, I don't think he was, to be honest with you. I think there is a good player in there, without a doubt. Dabs, I want Alese to go to a championship team, so that might be able to watch him. Yeah, I can't remember the names of the team. I think QPR was one of them that's interested in him. And who didn't get promoted? Who missed out on promotion? Middlesbrough. QPR, Middlesbrough, and then MK Dons from League One. I think are interested in him. Okay, let's stop there and go to the next part of the show, shall we? Let me get rid of that. And this is about players leaving and so on and so forth. So it's been suggested, as we've said, that Moyes wants up to 7 players in the summer window, and one of those players are already signed. We've talked about Aguerd, and I'm sure Alphonse Areola is going to be the next player to come through the door. Now, we know he's been brilliant for us. I think he was fantastic. We're just waiting for that to be confirmed. I think the next player that's been bandied around that isn't going to make it next season, I want to keep him. I want to keep as a Diop, but there's a lot of rumour that a number of teams in France and other countries, in Italy, etc., are interested in Issa Diop. And if we get a value of around 15 million for him, there's a possibility that he might go. So that's another player out. Now, look, let's just go through these slowly. We've had 4 players already leave. I've mentioned them already. David Martin, Andrei Yarmolenko, Ryan Fredericks, and Mark Noble. We've rumoured to have about £150 million in the kitty. And uh, and we also know that Areola and Kral, their loan spells are going to end at the end of April. Sorry, at the end of June. So 4 plus that's 6 players already potentially already gone. Let's go back to Areola. I think Areola was signed. If we've got 150 million pounds, it looks like we'll spend about 10 million. That's the rough sort of fee that we're looking about bringing Areola in on a permanent basis. So from 150 million pounds, if that's true, plus the 30 million that we spent on Aguerd, that's 40 million spent on Aguerd and Areola, and that will leave us with 110 million pounds. Then is a Diop. Apparently, there's rumour that he'll be sold. And I've just said if we get 15 million for him, there's the likelihood that he could be gone. That would leave us with, as I already mentioned before, Ogbonna, Dawson, Zuma, and Aguerd as our centre back. So we won't need to get another centre back in. There'll be one in, Aguerd, one out is a Diop. I don't want the player to leave, but if we get 15 million apparently for him, he'll be gone. That takes the kitty up to 125 million pounds. Staying in defence, staying in defence. Mr. Masuaku, King Arthur himself, is rumoured to be interested with Fulham there. And it looks like he could be finally leaving West Ham United, with a number of left backs being rumoured to be linked to us, like David Raum from Hoffenheim, and so on and so forth. So if we do let Masuaku go for a nominal fee of what, £5-6 million, let's say £5 million, that's a new balance of £130 million. If we go and buy Raum for 34 million, that takes our money down to £96 million. So that's 3 players in: Areola, Aguerd, and Raum, with a number of players already leaving: Diop and Masuaku, plus all the other players that have already left. We move into central midfield, and there's an awful lot of talk about Thomas Soucek. Apparently, with all the shenanigans going on with his contract negotiations and so on, there's rumour that Soucek might be leaving West Ham. I don't think that's true. I think we will negotiate something with Soucek, but let's say for argument's sake, we do sell him for around about 40 million pounds. If we say 35 million pounds, that takes the new balance up. We started at 150 million with all the players coming and going. That takes the new balance up to 131 million pounds by selling him. Now, we're going to have to replace him, of course. And I think we've been looking at 2 players in particular. There have been a number of players rumoured in central midfield, but I think 2 players in particular is Erikssen and Zinchenko. Now, we could get both those players in for give or take 40 million pounds. Erikssen will be a signing on fee, and Zinchenko, I don't know, 30 odd million pounds, something like that. So that takes our balance back down to about 100 million pounds. Now, there's also talk about Moyes cashing in. We've heard already on Vlasic. There's talk that he doesn't want to let Vlasic go on loan. He would rather sell him. And if he gets about 20 million pounds for him, that takes our balance up another 20 million. We're still in the 100 million pound mark, 120 million pounds. And that leaves us to get 2 players in for that sort of money. Now, there is talk that we've already heard about En-Nesyri coming in and other players, etc. So let's talk about those players. Let's start with Raum. Left back for Hoffenheim. Apparently he's got a buyout clause of 30 million, but apparently his price has gone up again. David Raum, 30 million pounds. So he would be a player that we should certainly be interested in. Or there's another player left back, is Joachim Maehle for Atalanta, who is probably about half the price, but a very decent player as well. And then, as I just mentioned, Alexander Zinchenko, who can play at left back, but more likely he wants to play as a central midfielder, and we saw him do that for Ukraine recently. And Erikssen, as I've just said, he's a free agent, but there'll be a signing on fee, etc. So if we do let Soucek go, getting Erikssen and Zinchenko in, we can maybe get them both in for around about the same sort of price. Salaries might be a bit different though, without a doubt. And then up front, Emmanuel Dennis, I've talked about him. Value 10 million. I think maybe more like a 20 million price tag for Emmanuel Dennis. And Ismail Sarr. is another player that we've also been rumoured to be linked to, round about £25 million mark. And as you've all said, Yusuf En-Nesyri, was valued at around 40 million, but now apparently we can pick him up for a snippet of £25 million. And again, he's another player that could actually play along the front line. He's not just an out-and-out striker. The player I like, and hopefully a player that we should be looking at, is Keane Lewis Potter. And as I said earlier, when I did a video on him, he just looked mustard. He really did. I didn't realise just how good he was. And he's another player that we're rumoured to be linked with. Now, how about comparing them? I'm sorry that these are so small, and I hope you can read them. First off, the player that we think might be leaving for Aguerd coming in, when you look at their stats, and these are based on games played in their leagues last season. When you look at Aguerd, look at the green on Naif Aguerd's side in comparison to Issa Diop's. In terms of games played, more goals scored, more passes attempted, pass accuracy rate of 90% to Diop's 85%, long pass accuracy 53% in comparison to Diop's 32%, duels contested. I mean, 300 duels. All right, he's played more games, but 300 duels contested to Diop's 60 duels. Tackles made 37, better. Aerial duels 62% to Diop's 48%. Ground duels 63% to Diop's 53%. Clearances double that of the Diop. Interceptions, well, four times the number. Blocks 4 times the number, double that as well. You can see, going back to the whole issue about David Moyes saying in the January transfer window that I want to get players that are going to improve the squad. You can see from Aguerd's stats to Diop, and let's not forget, I said I like Diop. I think Diop's a decent player, and he should get better. But you can see Aguerd, and I know a lot of you are going to say, well, he played in the French league, Diop's in the Premier League, etc., etc. It's different, and I get all that. But as other people said, Aguerd has to play against some very decent players, against PSG, etc. And he's done exceptionally well throughout the season. He's played in Europe as well, got his team to the Europa League next season, and so on and so forth. You can see that the Aguerd signing would be an improvement on Diop. Right, let's move to the next one. David Raum, Joachim Maehle. I'm comparing him to these two players to Aaron Cresswell. It'd be very unfair to compare him to Masuaku, because we know Masuaku would knock spots off them. There you go. I said it, and I'm joking. And there's a number of left backs that we've been linked to. Aaron Hickey, I've mentioned earlier, Calvin Bassey, etc., etc. But these are the players of the moment that we've been recently linked to. David Raum and Joachim Maehle compared to Aaron Cresswell. Now, in some parts, Cresswell holds his ground. In terms of attacking play, the number of goals scored by Maehle, the number of assists, 11 assists last season in the league, in the Bundesliga. Decent number of pass attempts, but bettered by Cresswell. Decent crossing accuracy, better than Cresswell's, better than Mahler's. Duels contested, much higher than either Maehle or Cresswell. Tackles made, much higher. Aerial duels contested, much higher. Ground duels contested, much higher. But success rate, aerial duel success rate for Cresswell is better. So more contested by Raum, but Cresswell's better. Cresswell's got the better defensive stats. So when it comes to clearances, interceptions, blocks, etc., Cresswell's much better at that than Raum. Raum is a more attack-minded left back, left wing back. Joachim Maehle, still a good player, very solid player. He's not a player that we should smirk at. He'd be someone that would certainly be good. Will he be better? Well, certainly his age stands him in good stead. 25 years old, he'll be a very solid defender, Joachim Maehle. So I think he would improve the squad. And David Raum, without a shadow of a doubt, he would definitely improve the squad. And I know Man United are coming in for him, etc. But as I sort of went through the figures very quickly, 34 million. I mean, if we start with a base of 150 million pounds, sell a number of players, buy a number of players in, etc., we'd still have 34 million pounds to actually spend on David Raum. Should we go for him? Why not? You know, the one thing that I said at the beginning of the show, Aguerd being able to play in a centre back two or a centre back three. If you playing in a centre back three, you need proper left wing backs. David Raum will fill that spot very, very easily indeed. Right, let's move a little bit further forward. Again, I know there's a whole host of players, Ward Prowse and various other players that I can mention, but I've gone for Erikssen and I've gone for Zinchenko, and I'm comparing him to Soucek because Soucek is the player that is rumoured to potentially be leaving West Ham United. Now, in terms of Soucek's had a bad season, and yet in comparison, and I know that Christian Eriksen only played half a season, and Zinchenko hasn't played that many games either for Man City. But looking at their average stats, even though Soucek has had a an average season, he does stand out still for things like aerial duels, ground duels, shots on target, shot accuracy, etc., etc. He's not bad. Now, all right, you're going to argue that all these three players are very different, and they are. They are. But what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compare. If we're going to lose a central midfielder, if we're going to lose Soucek, these are the players that have been rumoured that we're looking at. For social media says these are the players that are rumoured that we could be looking at replacing someone like Soucek with. Erikssen, more. He's going to create more chances. You know what he's about. Okay, he's older than the other players that we're looking at, but he's a class act. And Erikssen would undoubtedly improve the squad attacking wise, without a shadow of a doubt. We know what he's about. We know what he can do. We know, look at those senior career appearances: 540 appearances, 150 goals, 162 assists. We know what he's capable of doing. We know that there's a decent player in there. Zinchenko, I like Zinchenko actually, and I'd forgotten. I was only reminded when I did the Friday night show that Zinchenko started off as a left attacking midfielder, but what Zinchenko wants to do, he wants to play in midfield, and he did pretty decently well against in the Ukraine team. So will these two players be an improvement on Soucek? It's a hard one. This one, will they be an improvement? They'll be different to what we've got. I think maybe defensively, Zinchenko would be better than Soucek, and attackingly, Erikssen would be better than Soucek because Soucek tries to finish chances, he doesn't create chances. But you see Soucek as a bit of a box-to-box midfielder. Zinchenko's more defensive. Well, become a bit more defensive minded. Erikssen is more attack minded. The combination of the two, yeah. If we get both players in for the price that we sell Soucek with, then yeah, I can see that. I can see them being an improvement. Attacking midfield and going out wide, there's an awful lot of rumour about. He's called Mohamed Benrahma on the Squawka website. Saeed Benrahma apparently is rumoured that Moyes has sort of kind of given up on him, and he thinks a lot of people are saying that we think we're now. I don't think we're going to sell Soucek and Benrahma and let Vlasic go. I think maybe two of those three, maybe. But definitely one of those three. Vlasic, I think, definitely is going. If not a sale, definitely on loan. Benrahma, I like Benrahma. I don't, I know Moyes wants to make him a different kind of player, but I think Benrahma is a decent player. I know he can be a bit hit and miss at times, but I like him. But then when you look at Lewis Potter's stats and you look at Ismaila Sarr's stats, then you start to sort of wonder, Lewis Potter is the one that surprises me immensely. And all right, he played in the championship, but a lot of people say the championship is a much harder league to play in than the Premier League in some ways. A lot more physical, etc. Number of goals, the highest number of goals he's got, shots on target, shot accuracy, pass attempts, etc., etc. You can see that Lewis Potter, and he's only 21 years of age, has done well in the championship last season, and he certainly is a rising star without a shadow of a doubt. Would he be an improvement on Benrahma? I don't I don't know. It's a hard one to call. I genuinely don't know. I think he's a player that we should certainly be looking for, but I think he should be in addition to, should be competing with Benrahma rather than replacing him. And the same, I think, have I got Ismail Sarr? And the same for Ismail Sarr. Now, Sarr didn't have such a great season last season, but that was down to he missed quite a number of games. He missed a dozen games due to injury. But I think there's a good, really good player, pacey, clinical finisher, etc., etc. Very, very good player, Ismail Assar. But again, rather than being better and replacing Benrahma, I would rather see either Lewis Potter or Ismail Assar being added to Benrahma in the squad rather than replacing him. Um, and then we go finally to an area up front. Now, I've said I don't think we will buy a centre forward, but you know what? Let's humour ourselves. I've kind of included Emmanuel Dennis and Youssef En-Nesyri, again, all based on last season's stats in the leagues that they played in against Michail Antonio. Now, again, Michail Antonio didn't have such a great season. Started off well, was on fire until November, and then he just sort of fell away. And then he had, there were glimpses of him coming back, and then he didn't again, and then he came back, and then and he kind of like the season was kind of like a yo-yo for him. But look at the stats in comparison to Emmanuel Dennis and Youssef En-Nesyri in the league. Again, better stats, more goals, more shots taken, more chances created, pass accuracy, pass attempts, etc., etc. There's some things there that both Emmanuel Dennis and En-Nesyri can provide. Will they be an improvement to Antonio? En-Nesyri, more a striker than anything else. I'm not so sure. I think in Moyes' eyes, he won't be an improvement because Antonio does a lot of the work that he would be expecting En-Nesyri to do. Now, if Moyes wants an out-and-out striker, then fair play. En-Nesyri will be as good as any other striker that we can get in. But if he wants him to do what Antonio does, then no chance. Emmanuel Dennis, however, could be that sort of player. He plays along the front line. He could be that sort of workhorse. He falls back in defence to help his team out, etc., etc. He could be more like an Antonio type player. And yes, will he be better? I think he can certainly be on par. He scored 10 goals last season and 6 assists for a team that was really, really struggling. So yes, potentially Emmanuel Dennis could be on par, if not better. Right, that's it. I'm going to go through the chat, see what you guys are saying, and I'm going to just, you know what? I'm going to go right down to the bottom because that is 45 minutes old. So do forgive me. I'm going to miss a lot of the comments, and I'm going to go backwards. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Christ, there's loads. Right. So this is going backwards. Pash, come on, Potter will have to multitask playing for us and managing Brighton. Hammerette, I'd rather not keep Vlasic and Benny. Get one off the wage bill. I'd go for keeping Benny. Great impact sub, and goals and assists have been pretty good considering doesn't get many minutes. I agree with you. Mandy, good evening to you, and thank you for the compliment. Much appreciated. Right, I'm going to stop just there. If you've yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and hit the like button, please. And that will alert you to when I'm on next again, that especially the bell notification when you subscribe as to when I'm back on. Darren, Moyes treats Benny like an unwanted love child. Benny would be better off leaving. I feel sorry for him. I do too. I actually genuinely do feel sorry for him as well. P-Gads, Benny and Vlasic should stay. West Ham were lucky to get no injuries on offence last season. That's a really good point. That's a really good point. I think one of them will leave, and I think it will be Vlasic. Hammerhead, thank you. Sell someone that Youssef En-Nesyri. Thank you. Sell someone that says Youssef En-Nesyri right. Have I said it right? En-Nesyri. En-Nesyri? Oh, sorry. I'm really crap at pronouncing names. Really am. And I get upset when people pronounce my name wrong. Hammerette. Clark, didn't you make a move for Aguerd or Areola then? Who's Clark? Where's Clark? Got to find Clark. Vina, Lee. In Moyes, we trust. You win some and you lose some in player transfers, but Moyes has taken us on a solid couple of seasons and have got our best interests at heart, building for the future. Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. He does it his way. Epic, you should compare Lewis Potter's stats to Benrahma's stats the season before he joined us. Well, yeah, but I think it's more fair. comparing the stats to what happened last season. But they're the most recent, because players look at En-Nesyri. En-Nesyri. Look at En-Nesyri, the season before last. His stats were superb. He's had a crap season by scoring only 5 goals. So I'm looking at most recent. I could go on. I mean, I could, but where do I stop? Vinay, Benny has 8 goals and many assists. Moyes is just an attitude against him. I'm in agreement. I really am. I like no notification again. Double check, because I try to read up on this, and apparently, if you have your settings done in a particular way, you don't get notifications. So do check them, please. I hope everyone else is getting notifications. Let's scroll up. Clarky, good evening to you. Hi, Daniela. Don't believe everything you read. We don't. And if you watched this show before, you know what I'm like. I mock an awful lot of the transfer rumours. That's why tonight I didn't go through all the latest transfer rumours. That's why tonight I wanted to do comparisons with some of the transfer rumours that we've been linked to for quite some time. I could have knocked out a show tonight with at least another dozen names that have been that come about over the last few days. But I know people are getting fed up with those. So I tried to do something a little bit different by doing the comparisons. Are we getting better? Is Moyes actually really aiming for better than what we already have? And in most cases, you can see that he is. Dabs, we're 100% not going for Erikssen, going to get Erikssen. That's probably is guaranteed, but apparently even today, the rumour is that we've tried to start negotiations with him. But yeah, I would agree, Dabs, probably not. Hammer, I think realistically, Belotti would be achievable, but out of every centre forward, I would choose Jonathan David. I don't think Belotti apparently is waiting for, is it AC Milan to come in for him? Martin, Erikssen is a class player, the sort of ball player who could play at top level for years. Well, he's 30 years of age, and he probably is he's still got a couple of good seasons in him. I agree. Hammerhead, JWP is basically a better Noble. Excuse me. Yeah, he's a better Noble, but I certainly wouldn't pay £70 million for him without a doubt. Daniela. Darren Cranston. Anyway, Newcastle seem to be trying to hijack deals rather than finding their own. I think they have accepted that they can attract top players. Yet but it's interesting, isn't it, that they can attract top player, or they should be attracting top players. But apparently a deal fell through for a centre back. 2 deals fell through for 2 centre backs, which is why they tried to get Aguerd. Darren, we need to replacements for Noble and Kroll. Agreed. That's 2 players. We need a left winger, a forward. Agreed. We need to replace Yarmolenko. That's 4 players, and we need a striker. I agree. I said, a bit like you, we need to sign Areola, get him done. As our goalie, that's fine. Then we'll have 3 goalkeepers in Areola, Fabianski, and Randolph. Right backs were okay. Soufal and Johnson, done. Left back, we definitely need a left back without a doubt. Cresswell, another, without a doubt. In the centre of defence, I think we're done. Aguerd, Dawson, Diop, if he stays, Ogbonna and Zuma, we're done. I think we do need another central midfielder. If Soucek goes, we need another 2. If Soucek stays, we need another 1, alongside Declan, etc. And then attacking midfield, in the centre of attacking midfield, I hope we see Fornals in the centre rather than being pushed out left there next season. So Fornals and Lanzini will compete for that role. On the right side, Bowen plus another. I agree. On the left side, if Benrahma stays, Benrahma plus another. I agree again. And then up front, I agree. We need a striker. But if Benrahma stays, if Bowen will stay, well, the deal will go through for his improved contract. If Benrahma stays, if Bowen, we've got Bowen as well, and Antonio, I think Moyes will just get 2 other attacking players and not necessarily a striker. Andy, that's a beard. I thought it was his cat. Cheeky git. Going very white, isn't it? Going very white. Let's scroll up. Andy, Moyes really needs a decent left back, not a half-hearted 5-10 million signing. What about Maehle? If we ended up with Maehle, would he be okay? I think Joachim Maehle, I wouldn't mind him, and I certainly wouldn't mind this young man, David Raum, without a shadow of a doubt. Hammerhead, no way we'll get Raum coming. Well, no, I agree, but that's what's out there, and if we do meet the 34 million asking price, why not? Why not? Epic. Maehle is a wing back who's awful at defending. Basically another Masuaku. Don't buy him then. Mark Jelly, good evening to you. Raum looks class and I like Maehle, versatile. Maehle also plays as a right back as well as a left back. I didn't realise he was a wing back. I thought he was more primarily a defender rather than the wing back. But I could be wrong. Hammerhead. I honestly believe currently the Premier League isn't the best league in the world. Some of the football looks easy, so easy that even I feel could play at times standards. I disagree with that because you look at some of the other leagues. If you look at, say, the Spanish league, primarily what, 2, 3, 4 teams maybe at best that will always compete for those top 4 places. Italy, again, maybe 4 teams, etc. France, 1 team. Germany, a couple of teams, and so on. In the Premier League, what I think is great about it is that you've got your greedy 6, etc. But there are teams like West Ham, teams like Aston Villa, etc., that are trying to smash through that barrier, trying to break into the top 6. There's more. Yeah, you could argue maybe the top 2 or 3 now is always likely to be the Liverpool, the Man City, the Chelsea, etc. But other teams are coming through, and there's more chance. West Ham United, season before last, finishing just outside the Champions League spot. This season, finishing just outside the Europa League spot. I think that's why it is a better league, to be honest with you. Technically, if you're talking about technical play, yeah, maybe the Spanish teams, maybe the Italian teams might be technically better, without a doubt. Tyler, Sky Sports say West Ham are ready to bid 30 million for Broha. You're the 3rd or 4th person that have said that. So I'm going to have to take your guys' word for it because I haven't read it myself. But then that might have happened while I was doing the show, preparing the show. Anil, Vatos, Moyes is obsessed with En-Nesyri, but the love isn't being returned. Well, interesting. Andy, Cresswell's 3 assists, considering he takes a lot of free kicks and corners, is poor, to be honest. Let's go back. Have I got Cresswell? I haven't got Cresswell's stats up here. I thought he had more assists, mate. I might check that, but I thought he had more assists, to be honest with you. Darren. Okay, 30 in December, come on, and he could sign before we went to Miami, especially with the fact that he's not really played. Now I've heard. I'm guessing you're talking about. I'm reading upwards, so I don't know who you're talking about. I'm guessing that's Erikssen. I would imagine. Peter. Send Masuaku on a plane anywhere with no return ticket. I bought him the ticket already. Anil, I like Zinchenko in midfield. He's got a great shot on him. Wouldn't mind a left-footed midfielder like Hitzelberger or Monker. Yeah, good shout. Good shout. Good evening to you, Vatos Lokos. En-Nesyri is the deal. He's getting back in shape after the injury. West Ham will miss on him if they didn't sign him. No, there you go. Interesting. Good evening to you, Justin. Sorry, not good evening. KPL or Lingard? Lewis Potter or Lingard? Lewis Potter, who's the future, isn't he? Trini, let's compare their stats after Aguerd has played a season here. Yeah, fair play. Fair play. I think, I really do want Diop to stay, to be honest with you. I genuinely do want Diop to stay. Moyes, sometimes what goes on in there, if he gets 15 million for Diop, I think he'll be gone. But I want him to stay. Ultra, good evening to you. En-Nesyri getting his form back. Well, good. Well, he better get his form right back when we buy him. Howard, central midfield is his natural position. Justin, who are you talking about? I'm going upwards, so I just don't know who you're on about. I'm guessing Zinchenko. Chris Nix. I like the 2 wingers from the relegated side, Sarr and Cornet. Cornet hasn't been mentioned recently, but Dennis and Sarr have been mentioned. Lewis Potter's been mentioned. Quite a number of them. I'm going to scroll up a little bit more. Factor in signing on fees and agents' fees when we sign players. It comes out of the budget too. That's why I reckon. People are talking about Aguerd being 30 million pounds. I think when you look at agent fees, when you look at add-ons, etc., I bet it's more like something like 22, 23 million, to be honest with you. Howard, keeping the Yidders and Manure out of the top 6 would be a great start for both of us. Absolutely. Mr. Wriggler, Clarkey, Anil, whoever Hal wants to be honest, after what he did last season, he has my try. Oh, you're a Newcastle fan. You got a decent manager there, and good luck to you for next season. Mr. Wriggler, honestly speaking, do you think there's another season in Antonio? Do you want me to be honest? Whether there is or not, he's going to have to give us another season because he might still be our only striker next season. Makeshift striker. Peter, good evening to you. Diop should stay. Aguerd speaks French and may help to improve his game to take on Cresswell's position. Do you know something? Aguerd spoke on the West Ham official channel today. His English is very good. Thank you very much. Vino, Daniela Stewart, I think Lingard's overestimates how much he is wanted by clubs. Only Moyes really believes in him. And this is the thing we talked about on Friday night. I hope Moyes doesn't wait until the last moment to try and get Lingard and miss out on other potential signings. I really do. I hope that doesn't happen. I think it would be tragic if Moyes throws his eggs in the Lingard basket and doesn't go for other players as well. Right, I'm scrolling up. I think I'm going to scroll back down now. And do forgive me. You know what? Let's do that one. Trini, unless Diop is pushing for regular football, I would keep him. We'll be losing 2 centre backs next season, and we're not sure how good Oggy will be. I absolutely 100% agree with that. I absolutely do. Jonathan, what happened to all those rumours of Kamara? He would have been mustard. I don't know, mate. Aston Villa. I really, that shocked me. I mean, the Bissouma deal to Spurs upset me. The Kamara deal to Aston Villa shocked me. Two very, very good central midfielders that we've kind of lost out on. Now, I know all this stuff about what's going on with Bissouma and his court case, etc. But innocent until proven guilty and all that sort of stuff. But it might be a problem. It might bite Spurs' arse if he does get found guilty, and then they've got a player that won't be able to play for them. So that'll be interesting. Right, I'm going to scroll back down now to finish off the show. So bear with me. I don't know how far I got, but I'll try and work out roughly where I got to just to finish off the show. What have we done? An hour and 36. I haven't done a video break, so I'm gasping for some water. So do forgive me if I'm flagging a little bit. Let's go here. Right. Stabs, Del, do you? I think when you schedule a video, people have to manually find the video, click on it, and hit the bell. I got notified on all your pre-recorded video. Oh wow, I didn't know that, mate. I didn't know that. If you just subscribe to the channel and then keep looking every day, you'll find. Look, West Ham Weekly every Monday night. Usually I try to do them a bit earlier. The earliest they'll ever be will be 8 o'clock, but usually because of work and all that, that's highly unlikely. West Ham Weekly live show every Monday night, definitely. And if they're not, I'll tell you in advance. I do all the pre-recorded shows during the week, and if I do another live show in the week, it will usually be Friday night. I won't be doing that many Friday night lives, but certainly we did one on Friday just gone. And we'll certainly be doing them at least once a month at the very least, every Friday night. So the live shows, Monday night, Friday night, unless there's a special that I need to talk about, then usually the live shows just Mondays and Fridays. And then during the week will be pre-recorded shows. So I hope you tune in for those. I took Cresswell's stiff from yours. Did you? Shit, I must have made a mistake then. Clarky, I'm here after watching the Toon review, and we have quite a few Hammers fans who watch and participate with the chat and banter. Good to have the friendly rivalry on here. Absolutely. All fans from all clubs are more than welcome. We treat you guys with respect, and we hope to have that back as well. But you're more than welcome, Clarky, and you're more than welcome to subscribe. Good evening to you, Kieran. I hope you're well, mate. Thank you for joining. Anthony, Cresswell, 42 games, 2 goals, 7 assists. That's what. Yeah. So maybe it was 3 assists in the Premier League, but 7 assists in total. I thought it was higher. Robert, Erikssen does fit the Red Bull model. Players under 27. Erikssen is 30. Unless, of course, you're joking. Let's scroll down. Darren, Aguerd's English is better than some of the people on this channel. That's not good. He's only joking. Epic, it's entirely possible that we've already signed Lingard, but it won't be announced until his contract expires in 10 days. Imagine that. Do you want him? Look, in all honesty, if we get the Lingard that we had when he was on loan, I'm happy with that. We've still got to get another attacking player on top of that, I think. Lingard certainly plus another. I'd be more than happy. I'd be more than happy with that. Pash, bet you all want to go to Forest Away. I bet you're going to Forest Away, aren't you? Bastard. Aidan, Charlie Austin coming to BNE. BNE? Is that some club down under? Hamrick, can anyone tell me why we waited 3 days to announce Aguerd today? Well, interestingly, Aguerd. Now, when I started the show, I said, Aguerd was in London 3 weeks ago, signed with the shirt and all that. Aguerd said himself, I arrived in London yesterday. That's why it took 3 days, because he only got here yesterday. So all the ITKs don't always know everything. There you go. The best of. Good evening to you. West Ham are set to bid. There you go. Everyone's talking about it. What do you think? 30 million. All right. I mean, it can only get better. You can only get better. 167 fantastic people watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Thank you very much indeed. Good evening to you, Rhonda and Tony. How are you? Stowe, have you been talking for 90 minutes and no mention of the Socceroos making the World Cup? You will lose all your Australian viewers. Guess what, people? The Socceroos, Australia made the World Cup. Well done. I hope I keep all my viewers now. All three of you down under viewers. That's it. Aidan, Detective still on the case. Yes, it is. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I just read a lot of crap. People, that's it. An hour and 40 minutes without a break. I mean, that's going some. Thank you all very much for watching. Really much appreciated. Really great to have all the comments, etc. Keeps me on my toes. Sorry I couldn't get all the comments in. You know what it's like. I do try my best. If you're new to the channel, why not subscribe? Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and hit the like button. Thank you all very much indeed. Look out for the shows. There'll be a few more, unless there's a good reason for me to do a live show. I'll be doing a few pre-recorded shows throughout the week. Much appreciated. Really enjoyed your company, and I'll see you very, very soon.